We are going to get this party started, the 12th Annual Neighborhood Empowerment Network Awards, where we celebrate resiliency and community in our city and county of San Francisco. We're so excited to welcome all of you here to the People's Palace, with so many of our local leaders here tonight, and most importantly, all of you who are the empowerment network that makes our city sing. From the beach to the bay, our city is filled with good neighbors working to make our communities resilient and strong. And tonight's ceremony is thanks to the tireless efforts of the Neighborhood Empowerment Network, along with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. I have to say that those two teams are full of dedicated public servants who go into our communities every single day to support and work with residents from all walks of life. We want to thank the Mayor's Office on Disability and the City Hall Media Services for supporting guests with access and functional needs tonight. And if you need an assisted listening device, please contact any of our staff if they could raise their hands right now. We're so grateful as well that we have our ASL interpretation and live closed caption available tonight. I want to recognize our departments of Rec and Park, Public Works, the Community Challenge Grant Program, the office that I have the honor of leading, the Office of Economic and Workforce Development, the Youth Commission, SF Safe, and of course the ALERT and the NERP programs. For all your help, yes, please, a little round of applause there for them. For all of their help in honoring our winners and making tonight's celebration a huge, huge success. And finally, I want to highlight the crucial role of the Office of the City Administrator in supporting this event. But most importantly, there is someone who has been in the streets, in our neighborhoods, fighting for our city, here at home, up and down the state, nationwide, who makes sure that all of our needs and all of your concerns are addressed. She's been visiting with our merchants. She's been toiling on our streets. She's been wrangling all of us together to make sure that we can realize the true potential of what the city and county of San Francisco continues to be. A city of possibility, a city of extraordinary neighborhoods and community members. And so it's my honor tonight to welcome, to launch us into our 12th Annual Neighborhood Empowerment Network Awards, our mayor of the city and county of San Francisco, Mayor London N. Breed.
Thank you, Joaquin, and yes, you can have the raise that you asked me for. Thank you all so much for being here. And this event is always one of my favorites, and it is because it brings communities all over San Francisco into City Hall to recognize the work that you all do every single day in your communities. What you do, whether it's volunteering or starting a merchant association or working to plant trees, or I see the folks from NERT here and other folks who do incredible work every single day, not to be recognized, but to make sure that our city and our communities are more resilient, to make sure that we have incredible relationships with our neighbors, and to make sure that we're doing all we can to give back. And that's why today is so important. It is about recognizing the work that you do to touch the lives of so many people every single day, but to also remind us that we live in a place that is earthquake territory where things can happen at a moment's notice. And we know that when that occurs, we are going to need to depend on one another, and we are going to need to support and care for one another. And that's why not only being resilient in that perspective, but also having an opportunity to bond through the merchants associations, the neighborhood associations, through just gardening with your neighbor can do so much to make our communities better. And so I'm really honored to be here today to celebrate each and every one of you, whether it's an employee from Rec and Park, whether it's sadly people that we have lost like Carlos from Homey, who was absolutely an incredible jewel who I had the pleasure of working with when I served as the Executive Director of the African American Art and Culture Complex. whether it's Doris Vincent, who is getting the Lifetime Achievement Award. Because let me tell you, when I served on the Redevelopment Agency Commission, and when we were at those meetings, the commissioners, for the most part, always showed up, but the other person who was there protecting the Bayview Hunters Point community and holding everyone accountable was Doris Vincent, so she rightfully so deserves the Lifetime Achievement Award. So many incredible programs, so many incredible things, and tonight is about hearing those stories and really taking a moment to express appreciation, but also to reflect on what more we can do to invest in the city, and what more we can do to roll up our sleeves and to help support and uplift one another. And so that is what tonight is all about. And yes, there will be a food afterwards with a reception so that you can say hello and congratulations to all the honorees. But it is so great to see you all here at City Hall as we celebrate the very best of what San Francisco has to offer in our communities all over the city. Thank you all so much for being here tonight, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much, Mayor Breed, for your inspiring remarks about the value of our neighborhoods and our communities. Now it's my pleasure to introduce someone who cares so deeply about our communities and works day in and day out to ensure that our city has the services that it needs to be successful. And that is our city administrator, who's always been a supporter and a champion of the Neighborhood Empowerment Network and the awards that we give out. And that is our city administrator, Naomi Kelly.
Good evening, everyone. I can't tell you how honored I am to be here tonight. Again, this is one of my favorite events in City Hall, to recognize and honor all of the neighborhood associations, merchants associations, people who do the work to make our city beautiful along with city government. I can't thank you enough, because we're all in this together to make our city great. I'd be remiss if I didn't say I've been having a hard week. And the Department of Public Works is still here, still thriving, and they are going to be working with everyone in San Francisco. All 1,600 employees. There are wonderful men and women who work in that department who are working hard to make this city beautiful and clean and safe and resilient and everything that you all work on. I want to bring up to the stage Alaric Degrafinried. He is the acting director of Public Works. Alaric, I've known for approximately 15 years. I don't have notes in me, so if I get his start date with the city wrong, you have to forgive me. But he started with the city around that time, working at the Human Rights Commission, working on our local business enterprise program. He then went on to the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission, where he oversaw many contracts, not just construction and widgets and things, but he also was buying water and power. He then came over to city purchasing and started running the city purchasing, overseeing not just our purchasing, but our central shops and our reprographics and mail services. But some fun things to know about Alaric is he's a CYO referee. He was in the Peace Corps. He's an attorney, and he started his career working on local hire issues, not with the city, but with I can't remember, a private entity where he was working on HUD Section 3 local hiring programs. And so I would like to introduce you all to Alaric Degrafinried.
Thank you, Naomi. I just want to say that thank you for that welcome. And as I've been working here in the city now for the past 13 years or so, and I've been doing in various roles, kind of in behind the scenes, but I'm ever looking forward to and working with you all as in front of the scenes, being more active with you all in the streets of every San Francisco. It's making things better. Like as you all have been doing over every years and every decades, whether that be planting trees as making the neighborhood safer. And I just want you to know that I'll be here and support you in each and every way I can in each of the neighborhoods, each of the districts, each of the schools. So as I'm here, and I'm ever looking forward to doing everything I can do to make the city better. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alaric. It will be a great pleasure working with you on our streets and in our neighborhoods. So now, what we all came to see, the celebration of all of our communities and the winners here tonight who've done so much to make San Francisco what it is today. We want to begin by welcoming up to the stage our Comeback Neighborhood and Community Challenge Grant winners. The Comeback Neighborhood Award is given to the neighborhood that has really turned things around for its residents through collective problem solving and leadership. And this year's winner is Bayview Hill, Candlestick Point. The Bayview Hill Neighborhood Association has engaged the neighborhood, organized constituents, and advocated for better conditions in their community. Their negotiations with Lennar and Five Point have led to cleaner air and reduced traffic congestion for the neighborhood. And joining us today is their board of directors. All right, fantastic. So I wanted to ask you just one question.
Sure.
What is the biggest positive change you have seen in the Bayview Hill Candlestick Point neighborhood over the past year?
We can breathe the
Come on
air.
up, come on up. What is the biggest positive thing that's happened for the neighborhood this year?
We can breathe the air a lot better. We can take deep breaths now because we don't have the pollution that we used to have. We don't have the congestion from all the cars from Candlestick Park. And we definitely are trying to make sure that we don't breathe anything else nasty that's coming from the shipyard.
Yes, please, a round of applause. Now, the Community Challenge Grant has been supporting many community-designed and implemented projects in San Francisco for years. And they've played a vital role in helping build more livable, more sustainable, and more beautiful neighborhoods. The Spirit of Fillmore mural is this year's winner for transforming a simple building in the center of Fillmore into a vibrant public record of the community and history of the Western Addition. The mural's creation process involved the Rosa Parks Senior Center, Bay Area Mural Program, the Citizen Film Organization, and countless residents and stakeholders. And so the award is being given tonight to Tamara Walker. Come on over. Come on over, Josh. Don't be shy. And I just wanted to ask you, which part of the mural is most important to you and the community, and why?
The most important part of this mural to me was community telling the history of this mural. This mural was created with community workshops, focus groups, and we could not have done this without the Fillmore community, and also BAMP and Clifton Hyson, who actually drew London Breed's part of this mural. It was a community collaborative, and that's why it was so successful.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much. All right, and I think you can head off this way here, right? Oh, one photo, please. Yeah.
Where are we going? I don't think you care. No need to hurry. We can take our time.
The Spirit of the Fillmore mural.
Faster than the speed of light. At our speed of light.
Mayor Breed, we can do one more photo over here.
At the speed of light. We'll go faster.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mayor Breed.
Okay, now we can.
And thank you, Supervisor Shimon Walton, for joining us tonight. I want to thank thank you. I want to recognize a few more of our elected officials that are here tonight. I see Supervisor Catherine Stephanie here tonight. Supervisor Hillary Ronan. President of the Board of Supervisors, Norman Yee. Head of the Department of Public Health, Grant Colfax. Our city librarian. Members of the Police Department command staff are here tonight. If you can raise your hands. I know some of you, but not all of you, are in uniform tonight. Supervisor Gordon Marr, good to see you tonight. Thank you for joining us. And of course, I know there are countless commissioners in the audience tonight. I want to thank all of you for being here tonight to celebrate with us. And now, if I could, invite President Yee on up to the stage to say a few remarks.
Thank you, Joaquin. I'm Norman Yee, the president of the Board of Supervisors, and you know this celebration will not be complete unless the Board of Supervisors comes up here and really give this group a big welcome. Hello there. And by the way, Happy Lunar New Year. Gong hei fa choi. I want to say that this is a real important celebration. I've been to every one of them. Now this is my 8th one. So why is it important to all of us here? Because we know in our districts that without the volunteers, the neighborhood groups, the business people, and everybody that cleans up the street, in partnership with the city, that we continue to make our city great. Is that right? Yeah. And I want to say that we will continue this effort because without the people in the community, this city is not a city. It's empty. With the people in the community, we are really blessed that we all live in San Francisco, the best city in the world. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, President Yee and members of the Board of Supervisors. And we're going to do a little bit of stage crafting right now as it moves to the right. So next we welcome to the stage winners of the Extraordinary Neighborhood Block Party. The Extraordinary Neighborhood Block Party. And Best Merchants Association Community Benefit District. Now, block parties are more than just picnics. They're an opportunity for neighborhoods to come together, spend time with family, and celebrate what makes San Francisco great, living in communities that are worth fighting for. The Neighborhood Empowerment Network honors this important community building activity with the Extraordinary Neighborhood Block Party Award. And for the past 7 years, the residents of Connecticut Street between 20th and 22nd, also known as the Connecticut Street Dead Enders, have been riding stuffed animal scooters, highlighting local musicians, and generally making living in the neighborhood a cakewalk. So Ms. Lisa Ryers, can you come on up? I would love to just ask you a question about the importance of this for your community. So I've heard a lot about these block parties that the Connecticut Street Dead Enders have been hosting, and I'm still waiting for my invitation. And merchant associations play an integral role in our neighborhood's vibrancies. And I wanted to know what makes this event special to you and what makes the work special to you?
Well, obviously it's Obviously, it's the people that make our block party work, make our block party so special. We have residents who have lived there since they were born, moved into their homes in 1953, are in their 90s, in their 80s, in their 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s, all the way down to a 7-month-old baby. And we just have such a wonderful group of people living on our block that's the ecosystem that we're working with. That's so wonderful.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much and congratulations. So merchant associations and benefit districts play integral roles in the vibrancy of our neighborhoods. And this year's organization has gone above and beyond, bringing businesses and residents together to expand what typifies merchants and neighborhood associations. Whenever I visit the Terraville corridor, I'm always astounded by how many great small businesses and restaurants are available. For over 60 years, the people of Parkside Sunset, POPS, has promoted business and quality of life in the neighborhood. And in its new iteration, the organization sponsors special events like sidewalk sales, local talent shows, street fairs, merchant mixers, and the Taste of Terraville promotions to highlight the diverse and delicious array of local restaurants. So I would love to bring up Albert Chow and ask you a question on behalf of POPS. Oh, but you have a nice little mic there, Albert. It's good to see you here. Is that mic? Is this thing on? Is this thing on? Come on over.
Hey, Joaquin, how are you?
It's good to see you, Albert.
Good to see you too.
So, I'd love to hear from you, from one of the business owners, you today, about what impact the people of Parkside Sunset has had on you, your life, what you think about San Francisco and your business.
Whoa. Well, I am so glad. I would just say, wow, that we're here. And then we had started out as a small group, and now it's grown to the size that it has. And it is the community. It has come together. Terraville was a sleepy neighborhood before, but now it's really coming into its own. And I'm just so proud of my officers, my neighborhood that's really come up to bat and taken care of moving our neighborhood and our merchant association forward. I also want to say that we couldn't be there without OEWD, and we also couldn't be there without our supervisors supporting us. Thank you so much, and our mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Albert. And if you could hold just for a picture here, the photographer is ready to get you right now. All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I would say, come on this way. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's have a round of applause for them as they have some of their exit applause, everybody. Our next awards elevate those who have responded and volunteered as first responders. The San Francisco Police Department's Auxiliary Law Enforcement Response Team, AKA ALERT, and the Fire Department's Neighborhood Emergency Response Team, or NERT, have trained thousands of San Franciscans to play an integral role in the city's response to disasters and to provide leadership and support to their communities on a daily basis. That's right. Give it up. Henry S. Rosenthal has consistently shown professionalism, compassion, and kindness in his leadership roles in the San Francisco Police Department's ALERT program. Whether leading teams in drills or supporting local events alongside the San Francisco Police Department, Henry exemplifies what it means to be a community leader. So congratulations, Henry. So Henry, may I just ask you a question? Sure. What made you believe it was so important to dedicate your life to service in this way?
Well, service is the highest form of human endeavor. And the training that I've received and the skills are going to serve me well and the members of my community. But I would be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to recognize and thank the work of Sergeant Mark Hernandez, who has shepherded and led this program with such excellence and grace, and has been such a mentor to me personally through my time here. And he's leaving the program soon, and I wanted to make that known.
Fantastic, Henry. Congratulations, and thank you so much. So, of course, we never know when an emergency will occur. That's why it's important to prepare as much as possible beforehand. So, known for his ability to coach, train, and empower NERT volunteers, Peter Sil McElmurray is this year's recipient of the Exemplary NERT Leadership Award. He was instrumental in creating and teaching the 2-meter critical mass amateur radio practice class. And unfortunately, Peter is no longer with us. But his spirit of community service and dedication to training the next generation of NERT volunteers lives on. Tonight, Patricia and her son Daniel are here to receive the award on his behalf. Come on up, please.
I'm not very good at this, but all right. First of all, thank you, Mayor Breed and the San Francisco Fire Department. And thank you, all of you who nominated my husband for this honor. You all know, the ones who know him, that he would be very humble. And in fact, I want you to know that he knew about this award before he passed away. And I remember we were sitting in our office back to back, and he turned around and he told me he'd read it, I think it was a letter from Erica Articeros, and he told me he had been nominated for this award. And he said, "Why me?" He just kind of didn't believe it, wondering why. And I remember I told him, well, it's because, and I, kind of reminded him. And I think he was very pleased, and he was humble, and we're very proud of him. And we thank you very much.
Hi. A few years back, I asked my dad what the future Pete might want for the current Pete in his life, and he told me that he just wanted to do a good turn every day and help people whenever he could. So this award means so much to us, and it just verifies how such a great person he was, and we're very proud of him. So thank you, everyone. Thank you.
If I could just ask, just for a quick moment of silence so we can hold this space for a moment, that we get to recognize people and families who come together who know the value of true, deep commitment and service to a community, to a civic identity, to a city.
I feel like dying for sure.
Thank you. Commander Fong, I would like to invite you up to say, a few words to talk about service at a different level in terms of those who have committed so many years of their lives to public safety here in San Francisco.
Thank you. Good evening. First, I'd like to congratulate Henry again on this well-deserved award. His contributions to the ALERT program, his leadership and his dedication to this program, which has helped make what the ALERT program what it is today, and we share that with all the ALERT volunteers here today. So congratulations, Henry. But I'd like to take a moment really to acknowledge the leadership of the ALERT program since its inception in 2012. Retired Sergeant Mark Hernandez, after 35 years of service to the San Francisco Police Department, took over the alert program and built the program from ground up to what it is today. 172 volunteers dedicated to serving and supplementing the police department in response to disasters as well as community events. So to that, retired Sergeant Mark Hernandez is retiring from this role as of March 1st of this year after 40 years of dedicated service to the city and county of San Francisco. So I'd just like to thank Mark Hernandez for his continued service and wish him all the best in his retirement.
Thank you so much, Commander. Our next group of winners includes the most inspiring public works volunteer, youth neighborhood leadership, and outstanding neighborhood watch group. The most inspiring public works volunteer award acknowledges San Francisco volunteers who have consistently worked to improve our neighborhoods as they build a cleaner, greener, and safer community. Vicki Rideout was selected in recognition of her and her fellow Tompkins Stairways Garden volunteers' extraordinary work in creating a beautiful, safe, and vibrant street park in Bernal Heights. So congratulations, Vicki. So we know that you were especially dedicated to the Tompkins Stairway Garden project and helped to lead their volunteers toward beautifying the area. So what originally drew you to this area, inspired you to make a difference?
Well, if I'm really honest, I was inspired by how disgusting the property had become. I'm sorry to have to say that, but it was a really stinky mess full of trash and weeds, and we had to walk through it every day to get up to the library and to the grocery store and to the elementary school. So we came together and changed it, and these people, when I stood at the stairs and handed out flyers asking for volunteers, these are the folks who showed up. Andre Rothblatt, who is the architect who created our gorgeous tiled stairway. And we learned one really important lesson, I think, from this, which we'd love to share with the policymakers here tonight, which is that there is this category of property in the city called unaccepted properties that are publicly owned but not maintained, according to the city code. And our suggestion would be that the policymakers should take a look at those and maybe do an inventory of them, and just as we did with the street trees, consider designating an agency to actually care for these properties with the resources and the personnel to do so.
Fantastic. Congratulations. Now, the Youth Neighborhood Leadership Award is presented to a young San Franciscan who has put in invaluable work to strengthen our community. That's right. Let's hear it. Yeah! Tonight we award Tanea Jones for using her unique perspective and powerful testimony to speak to young women across the United States with the Young Women's Freedom Center. So what everyone wants to know is, what powerful project are you working on now, and what are you most excited about?
Well, the project I'm working on now is shutting down Juvenile Hall, YGC out here. So just connecting with other organizations around the world, making sure the girls or the LGBTQ people are safe, and then just showing the good support and a role model for my nieces and also younger girls.
Thank you so much for your leadership. Now, we all know that neighborhood watch groups are a grassroots collaborative response to public safety issues. And Castro Community on Patrol, and I want to acknowledge, of course, the supervisor here tonight, Supervisor Rafael Mandelman, for joining us. The Castro Community on Patrol, San Francisco's walking neighborhood watch, was formed in response to concerns of violence in the Castro, but has become so much more. CCOP works with the Castro Merchants Association, co-manages the Stop the Violence program, and addresses quality of life issues with the Castro Cares program of the Castro Community Benefit District. So to Greg Carey and to Ken Gregg, congratulations on behalf of the community. How you doing? I'm good, thanks. So how have you seen the streets of the Castro change since you began Castro Community on Patrol in 2006?
When we began, we were responding to some very violent activities, some very violent robberies. Once we hit the streets in 2006, that dissipated. So what we're now seeing, we're spending more time on teaching the public how to take care of their own safety and being more self-aware. And so we've seen a reduction in crime, but we also want to make sure that we maintain that.
Fantastic. Thank you, and thank you all for your service. We'll just do a couple of three photos right here. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you all. Thank you all. Some more exit applause, everybody. Thank you, Supervisor. So next, we welcome to the stage winners of the Outstanding Park Volunteer Group and Most Empowering City Employee Awards. The Outstanding Volunteer Group Award represents volunteer groups that are instrumental to the success of the city in providing clean, safe, and fun parks to the public. The Friends of Lafayette Park, or FOLP, boasts hundreds of members who have been working to better the 11-acre city park for the past 15 years. The members' efforts to transform Lafayette Park into a community gathering place with accessible paths, children's playgrounds, picnic areas, tennis courts, off-leash dog play area, and a shaded amphitheater are more than enough to honor them with this award. We can have some applause there, folks. So tell us what this award means to you and to the community.
It means everything. I think as a neighborhood group, you don't do this for rewards. You do it to better your environment. This group here with me, we spent a lot of time bettering our environment, and we're humbled by this award. I think it really speaks to the membership. It speaks to the people that are a part of our group. And we'd like to thank our supervisor, our past supervisor, Mayor Farrell as well, but Supervisor Stephanie, Rec Park, who's been a great partner, and the Parks Alliance, which we couldn't have done it without. So we want to just say thanks.
Thank you so much and congratulations. We got one more. Yeah. The Most Empowering City Employee Award highlights a member of the city family who has consistently gone above and beyond as they work to build cleaner, greener, and stronger communities. This year, the Community Judges Panel is excited to recognize Dylan J. Hayes from the Recreation and Parks Department for empowering residents in the Natural Resources Program. Dylan was a clear choice because of the countless testimonials we received, as we are hearing tonight, of Dylan's work ethic, his compassion, his dedication to creating green and open spaces for all San Franciscans. Of more than 32,000 employees, tonight it is our honor to award Dylan the Most Empowering City Employee Award. So we are so lucky to have you as a member of the city family, Dylan, and we just want to ask you one thing. What would you say is your most favorite part of your job here in the city?
Well, I'd have to say it's connecting people to nature. You know, when we do habitat restoration together, you know, not only do we heal the earth, we heal ourselves. And together we create something greater than ourselves. And to me, that means the world. You know, as a lifelong San Franciscan and city employee or public servant, I've worked with some of the people for 20 years. And I couldn't be more thankful for all of the community. Thank you, all the friends groups here tonight, and the thousands of volunteers, especially the school teachers as well, citywide, all the school people I've worked with. You know, tireless teachers. We try to turn it around for people in our parks and really get them connected. And I also have to thank my Rec and Park colleagues, and not just the friends groups, but my Rec and Park colleagues, and especially my Natural Resource Division. They work tirelessly to protect 1,200 acres. I don't know how we balance biodiversity, but by golly, we do it. And I'm so proud of all of us, and especially we couldn't do it without all the friends groups and the thousands of volunteers that show up. And I have my little fourth generation San Franciscan here, and she has a little something she'd like to say too. You ready? Oh, I gotta hold that now? Right, great.
Well, speaking of San Franciscans here at the new NEN Awards Empowering One Another, I truly believe us San Franciscans should have our own day. There is a day for just about everything, surprisingly. However, there is no official dedicated day to our city. We propose San Francisco Day, a day that would allow us to show our pride by getting out to local events with our neighbors to serve and celebrate what we love about San Francisco. We're hoping there may be a few people or supervisors around here who can make it happen.
No pressure, Supervisor Stephanie, no pressure.
So thank you, empowering people, and happy San Francisco Day, perhaps.
Thank you. Okay, some photos.
I'm thinking of a space for possible nothings to liberate. Bubble up the backdrop, falling on my face. You better keep in mind that you gotta go wild. You gotta go wild. You gotta go wild.
A round of applause, please, a round of applause. Congratulations, congratulations. Congratulations, everyone. Throughout history, San Francisco has welcomed innumerable advocates and activists who have fought to make our city what it is today. The Neighborhood Empowerment Network Hall of Fame Award acknowledges the leaders that are no longer with us, but whose contributions continue to positively and forcefully impact our lives on a daily basis, whether we realize it or not. Carlos Gutierrez was born and raised in the Mission. Despite challenges in his youth, Carlos turned his life around, earned his bachelor's while raising 2 children, and created an organization called HOMIE. HOMIE is organizing the mission to empower youth, to transform at-risk youth and young adults' lives. Tonight, we honor the late Carlos Gutierrez with the Neighborhood Empowerment Network Hall of Fame Award. Receiving the award on his behalf tonight are his children, Cassandra and Elias. And we are so happy to have you with us here tonight. Please, yes.
So I was in class earlier, and I knew I was about to speak, so I wrote a little poem. I didn't title it, and it's also not that very long, but here it goes. Late nights, a lot of late nights. Some of the simplest joys a kid has is coming home from school and enjoying that little sliver of time before your parents come home. For me, that sliver was always a chunk. Late nights. My dad never was a normal father. There was a lot of late nights. Nights I stayed up. Nights that my dad came home late. I remember our brown rectangular dining room table that took up a considerable amount of our bedroom, our one-bedroom apartment. What I remember most about that table was not having family dinners on it. You know, I held a lot against him. How could someone come home so tired? Why the hell is he coming home giving me crap about not doing the damn dishes? You know, they're not my mess. You know, at the time I was going to high school every day and, you know, feeling alone, and, you know, I was doing all this hard work, and this dude comes home and, you know, he impedes on my alone time, my sanctuary, and starts barking orders. But, you know, he goes to a job, you know, a community job, a community organization. I was like, oh, you know, that's not that hard. You know, you're sitting at a desk all day doing nothing, while I'm slaving away at this homework. And, you know, I told him his work was easy, and he would always reply with something like, oh, you know, I provide for you, and I do all this. And I always thought he was full of it. You know, waiting to grow up. You know, I had to, like, looking back on it, you know, I really should have been more careful for what I wished for. But I never knew how much my dad did, the people he knew, the ones he helped. I traveled to Berkeley, and, you know, I met people who knew him even there, you know. And I even, you know, I'm a student at USF down the street. And I was at the gym, and some guy stopped me because I had a sweater with his face on it. And he's like, you know, it's an honor to meet you because I knew your dad. You know, at my dad's funeral, you know, there was a lot of people, you know, several hundred people, and I knew almost no one. You know, of course I knew the family and friends, but there were just couple hundred people that I never met, and they all knew my dad, just coming up to me and saying, you know, he was the only one there for me at certain times. And, you know, I look back on that, you know, holding these things against him, you know, oh, you know, you don't do work. I'm the one who has to do homework and study hard, and you're not doing anything. But, you know, it was almost like he lived a second life, but not in a bad way, just, you know, kind of just, you know, meeting people and helping people and doing all these things. And I held against him, like, not being able to have family dinners, or him not helping me with homework, or not going to family, you know, school events that your parents go to. And I would get mad at him for that, and I never realized how much he did for the community. And I guess if there's one thing I could say, it's, you know, usually when someone dies, they're remembered for a time, and then they're just forgotten. But this award and this ceremony, you know, thank you all for remembering him, and, you know, remembering him when I felt like I was the only one that did. So, thank you.
Move this down a little bit. Good evening, Nalapa. So, I do want to thank you for honoring and recognizing my father, Carlos. His presence is still and forever will be very deeply missed. It's going to be 2 years in July. It's kind of crazy to think about, because one minute you're here, the next you're gone. But beyond the achievement of this physical award is the lasting effects of his actions towards the betterment and unification of humanity. He not just vocalized it, he did it every single day. You know, working with incarcerated youth, or just people on the street that he knew growing up, and he wanted them to be cleaner from drugs, you know, or off the street from violence, you know, breaking cycles. He did everything he could to not really be a statistic. even though he was in the beginning having me at he was 16 having me. So, of course, he may have started off the bat a little difficult, but he did really well, I think, as a parent. And although he primarily worked in San Francisco, he demonstrated and vocalized the importance of being of assistance towards everyone. That the greatest sight to obtain was to strive towards justice. And one of the things he really emphasized was that until deeds were put into action, your words are useless. What are you doing to contribute? It's more than just saying, I work for homie, more than like, I'd like to help volunteer. It's, do you do it? And so, although his passing is still, for myself and those who knew him, it's still painful, but I think out of the grief that, even though he's gone and I think he's ascended somewhere else, that there's still work to be done. Not just remembering his legacy, but just continuing that, not just for him, but for everyone else who strives to make this crazy world better. And that's what I'm doing myself, my brother, not just in his name, but because he ingrained that. What else is there left if we don't really work towards the betterment of the world? He was very diligent and proud that he was doing something. He didn't care about the recognition. He just wanted to make sure that he was doing something, It's kind of funny that way. But I guess the last thing I'll say is that I miss him a lot, but that regardless, I use his life, his short 38 years of life, to remind myself that you can do a lot in a short amount of time. And you live day to day trying to make the world better and through actions, through compassion and understanding, patience, not just politically, but through the kindness of because you want to. So thanks, Pops. Hope that we win the Super Bowl this Sunday. He was a big Niners fan, so Carlos presente. Thank you.
It's extraordinary to have the voices of the next generation here with us in this room tonight, and speaking of integrity and legacy and the future, and knowing that your father would be very proud to hear your voices standing in front of a room of a network of community leaders who believe in what you will bring to us for that future that we want you to realize for your children and future generations to come. So thank you for being with us tonight. Our neighborhoods are teeming with resident leaders who have been making a difference in the lives of those around them for decades. This year, we honor the leadership of Doris M. Vincent, recipient of the Neighborhood Empowerment Network Lifetime Achievement Award. Born in Georgia, Doris learned to care for people from the example of her family. To this day, she offers a roof to those who can't find housing, food to those who can't afford a meal, and guidance to numerous boards and associations in San Francisco who reach out to her for help. So congratulations, Doris.
Hello, everybody. This is very humbling. I'm just a fourth generation of doing what I do. My great-grandmother did it. My grandmother did it. My father did it. and I'm doing it. And I really do believe I'm going to do a little preaching. I really do believe that our Creator created us. And in that creation, He gave us a responsibility to shepherd His creation. We are to make sure the environment is safe. We're to make sure that the homeless have housing. We're to make sure that the seniors is taken care of. We're supposed to make sure that young people who lose their parents is nurtured and taken care of. And when we pray, He uses us to answer those prayers. We're His voice. We're His ears. We're His eyes. We're His hands. We're His feet. And I suspect each one of you in here today deserves this award. So I'm going to receive it in your behalf, because I'm pretty sure that you've done some of the things that God has laid in front of you to do. And if not, when you wake up in the morning, when you're talking to Him, you ask Him to give the list that you're supposed to accomplish for that day. Trust me, He will do that. Sometimes you think you missed the bus, and you get a little bit upset. But you'll meet somebody on the next bus that you have information that they need. That's God's way of doing things. So thank those who felt that I deserved this. And I wish Mayor Breed was in here, because she's one of my daughters. I don't think she knows that. I watched her, very young woman, on the commission. She did a lot for Bayview Hunters Point. She would make suggestions, the boards followed it and made it happen. So we deeply appreciate her. And where's my supervisor? We appreciate him also. We appreciate all of those that we don't do it all by ourselves. It takes a community to make anything happen. And I really do appreciate, there are a lot of people, I would ask them all to stand up, but that would be crazy. I'm going to ask them to raise their hands. These are people, raise your hand, those of you that are here for me, raise your hands. These are people that really did work in our neighborhoods, and they do deserve this award.
Congratulations, Ms. Vincent, and thank you for your words of wisdom tonight. That was a beautiful, beautiful way to close out tonight's ceremony. Before we close, we move on into the celebration room where the real party gets started and everyone gets to talk with each other in celebration and communion. I wanted to make sure that we recognized a gentleman behind the scenes who wasn't up here with me tonight, Mr. Daniel Holmesy. I wanted to shout out Daniel, and I wanted to invite up Daniel and all of the volunteers from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services and the Neighborhood Empowerment Network to come on up, and take a bow for all of your work. To come on up, like you do every single day and every single night when you're working in communities. And here to tell us a little bit about Mons and Fix It and the work we do collectively in our neighborhoods is Emma.
Hello, thank you everybody. I'm so excited to be here tonight to represent all of the volunteers and all of the Mons staff, the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. We work every day here in City Hall to exemplify the values that you represent in your communities. Raise your hand if you're in Mons. We have a liaison for every single neighborhood, for every single street, and for every single person in this city. You want to come and find us? You know where we are, right here in City Hall. I want to thank the volunteers who practiced and practiced to make tonight a success. And I want to thank all of the sponsors and vendors who helped us tonight, including SFGov TV, Taste Catering, Pure Ecstasy, a band you're about to see at the reception, the City Hall Events Team, Media Services, JD Harris Photography, Verducci Lighting, Rose Bowl Florists, Abbey Rentals, and of course, our beloved Community Challenge Grant. And the Mayor's Office of Disability. Thank you all for coming, and thank you all for the work you do every single day in our neighborhoods. And please join us for a reception in the North Light Court with some food and some drink and some neighbors.
Tonight's about voices. And if someone didn't feel who got an award that they had enough time, come on up. Come on up. Enough time to respond to one question. Wanted to add one last thing. This is about neighborhood and community empowerment. So come on up.
Thank you all for coming out tonight. And I just wanted to say on behalf of the Bayview Hill Neighborhood Association and the Bayview neighborhood in particular, that we are so proud to be up here and to work for our neighborhoods. And we really want to make sure that people come to the Bayview, that you enjoy the Bayview, and that we get on the map. So thank you.